BTS News Today. The night sky over Los Angeles gave no hint that the day would mark an emotional turning point for millions. There was no storm, no thunder. Yet in that stillness, something shook the world of K-pop. Not with joy or surprise, but with a raw, piercing honesty that left many in tears. A video, only 6 minutes long, appeared without warning. No teaser, no official post from the label. Just a video that suddenly appeared on Jungkook's personal channel and spread like wildfire across the digital universe, igniting a wave of emotion that no one was prepared for. The video opened in darkness. Not a frightening darkness, but an intimate one. The camera pointed at a dimly lit studio, illuminated only by a small spotlight hanging from the ceiling. No background music, no flashy edits. Just two voices, soft and uncertain, as if they weren't speaking to the camera but to each other. Jungkook sat on the edge of the studio couch, fiddling with the rolled sleeves of his shirt. Jimin stood across from him, staring at the floor, his heavy breaths betraying a sorrow held back for too long. "Hyung." Jungkook's voice was quiet but unmistakably clear. "Can we not be artists tonight?" Jimin slowly lifted his head. His eyes were already wet. In the dim light, they looked like shards of shattered glass, fragile, piercing, and glowing with pain. He walked slowly toward Jungkook and sat beside him, letting a long pause settle between them. Then came his first words, more cutting than anyone could have expected. "I'm tired of being strong for everyone, Jungkook ah." Since the video was released, the comments have poured in like a flood. Armies around the world confessed to crying, getting chills, feeling like they had been pulled into that room. Silent witnesses to wounds long hidden beneath stage smiles and camera lights. The video, brief yet profound, revealed an unscripted conversation between two people who could no longer hide the pain they had carried for too long. They spoke of pressure, of feeling lost, of nights when they had to remind each other they were still sane, still whole. Jungkook, often seen as endlessly energetic and hiding tears behind laughter, finally allowed himself to be seen as vulnerable. He admitted there were days when he looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back. "I feel like a puppet with broken strings," he said, his voice hoarse. "We work, we smile, but sometimes we forget why we started." Jimin, known for his sensitivity and empathy, added with a trembling voice, "You know, sometimes I wish we were just regular kids. Kids who could go home without cameras, without the pressure to always be strong. But every time I see you, I remember I'm not alone. And that's what keeps me going." The moment that broke many viewers was when Jungkook looked down and took a deep breath, then reached out and held Jimin's hand, saying, "You know why I'm still here, Hyung? Because of you. Because you always come back, even when everything feels like it's falling apart." Then, no more words. Just a hug. A long, silent embrace that spoke louder than 1,000 motivational speeches. The camera didn't move, didn't zoom in. It simply let the moment breathe, freezing time in a space where two souls who had weathered countless storms finally let their guards down. There was no follow-up statement, no official clarification, just silence. But within that silence, the message rang louder than ever. Armies began to share their own stories, how they too felt tired, alone, forced to be strong for others. They wrote, "Jungkook and Jimin gave us permission to cry. They gave us permission to be honest." The hashtags #ThankYouJungkook and #6minutes of truth trended across countries. Fans sent messages of love, not just as admirers, but as fellow humans. Many said those 6 minutes healed more than words could explain. There was something in the sincerity of those two souls that touched the deepest layers of humanity. The need to be understood, to be loved not for strength, but for vulnerability. The days that followed were quiet in a new kind of way. Not silent from loss, but from reflection. Many fans rewatched older videos, searching for signs of hidden pain they may have missed. They wrote letters, not asking for a new song or a comeback, but simply saying, "Thank you for staying." Some insiders suggested the video may have leaked unintentionally, that Jungkook had originally recorded it for personal documentation, or to show Big Hit staff as a plea for rest. But regardless of how it surfaced, its impact was undeniable. It opened a window in the middle of a storm, letting in fresh air for those who had begun to suffocate, What made the moment so powerful was that it wasn't about promotion. It wasn't about an album, a stage, or the next big event. It was about two humans, long placed under the spotlight, finally saying, "We need space to breathe too." In a brief interview days later, RM was asked about the video. His voice was soft when he responded, "Sometimes, what an artist needs most isn't a big stage, but a shoulder to lean on." Suga, usually quiet and reserved, replied with just one sentence, "I'm proud of both of them." Those 6 minutes changed something fundamental in how the world sees BTS. They are no longer just global idols. They've become symbols of truth, of the courage to speak up, of strength through honesty. Jungkook and Jimin may not have realized that by crying in that dimly lit studio, they were giving millions of people the courage to stop pretending to be okay. They showed us that being strong doesn't mean not crying. It means having the bravery to show your tears to the world. And that's why, for so many, the video wasn't just a recording.it was a hug.it was a confession.it was proof that even in the brightest spotlight, there is still space to be human. To be tired, to be honest, to hold each other up. 6 minutes. But for so many, they were 6 minutes that changed everything. Time continues to pass, but the echo of those 6 minutes hasn't faded. Days go by, yet the video remains a central topic within the ARMY community. Many fans admit they've watched it dozens of times, each viewing bringing the same tears, the same emotions, the same unreplaceable warmth. Even international media outlets began covering the video, not as gossip, but as a deeply human story, when two superstars chose to be human. Behind the scenes, many wondered, what compelled Jungkook and Jimin to film the video? What drove them to reveal the darkest side of their journey as BTS members? A staff member who had worked closely with them shared an anonymous account. She said that on the night of the recording, there had been an intense practice session. Jungkook and Jimin looked physically exhausted, but it wasn't just that. "I saw Jimin Hyung sitting silently in the corner, and Jungkook walked over to him. Then the two of them disappeared. We thought they just needed fresh air," she recalled. "We had no idea what would happen next would touch millions around the globe." The next morning, neither of them returned to rehearsal. Only one short message was sent to the internal group chat. "We need time to calm down. Thank you for understanding." What makes this story even more touching is the known emotional closeness between Jungkook and Jimin. Since debut, they've often been seen looking out for each other, understanding each other without words. In countless behind-the-scenes clips, their bond feels genuine, sharing food, leaning on each other when tired, laughing freely amidst tough schedules. But behind that warmth, there was a shared burden of being hope, of being comfort to the world, even when they themselves had no place to rest. 6 minutes. But they were 6 minutes that allowed the world to exhale.